everybody, I'm John Nash with Ukulele Inspired. Thanks so much for tuning into another episode of Insight. Today we talk a little bit about how to build major chords. Have you ever wondered what notes make up a major chord? Let's take apart a few major chords that we know and see if we can figure out which notes are inside of it. So if I play a C chord, the top note here on the G string is a G note. The next string down is a C note. The next string down after that is an E note. And here on the A string, I go up A, whole step to B, and half step to C, which gives me another C. So it's G, C, E, and another C. So if I put those notes in ascending order, what I see is that I get the lowest note C, which is the root, the next note E, the following note G on the top, and then the bottom note is a repeat or an octave above the root C. If we're thinking about this in terms of the C major scale, what we see is that we actually are playing the first note in the C major scale, the third note in the C major scale, and the fifth note in the C major scale. Now in music, we're always looking for predictable patterns or predictable relationships between notes. So I can expand this idea of the first, the third, and the fifth in any major key in order to create a major chord. Let's take a D major chord, for example. So the three notes that I'm looking for is the first note, the third note, and the fifth note in the D major scale. So the first note, the root, is D, here on the second fret on the C string. The third note is F sharp, here on the second fret on the E string, and then the open A note. So if you look at how this chord stacks up, the top note is an A, the next note is a D, the note on the E string is an F sharp, and the last note is another A, so I have a doubled fifth here. D, F sharp, A, and another A. Let's try one more example. Let's move to the key of F, and let's find the first note, the third note, and the fifth note in that key. So the first note, or the root, is F. If we go to the third note, it's an A, and then the fifth note is a C. So the three notes that I need for an F major chord are F, A, and C. Let's see if we can find them inside this chord. On the top, here on the second fret on the G string is your A. Here on the open C string is your C note. On the E string on the first fret is your root. And on the bottom is another A. So I have A, C, F, and C. Those three notes that make up that chord. Pretty simple, right? You take the first note, the third note, and the fifth note from any major key, and those are the notes that you're going to find inside that major chord. See if you can take some other major chords that you know, predict which notes that are going to be in that chord, and see if you can find them on the fretboard. Thanks so much for tuning in again, guys, and be sure to subscribe to stay inspired.